Oh my goodness. And there it is. Wow, get the spin to go.
And we welcome you, everybody, to the PWBA Dallas Classic. I'm Dave Lamont. We have our final five set. It is a star-studded show, and not surprisingly, pretty reflective of the Player of the Year races. We have four of the top five players who are really fighting for the Player of the Year with just three finals to be determined. The season will end next week, of course, with the Players' Championship. I'm joined by the Hall of Famer, Carolyn Doran Ballard, and we are just about ready to have our first match of our five-person final. And Carolyn, this opening match features Clara Guerrero and Birgit Norrijks, and Clara has an outside chance of Player of the Year. She does need some help, but once again, we are seeing five very familiar faces in this stepladder final.
I totally agree with that. I think that is an outside chance for Clara, but if anybody's up to the task, I know she is. She is a practiceaholic, and she was very ready for this season. But it's kind of interesting because when you're looking at the top five, every single one of these players, as well as your top 24, let's just talk about them for the PWBA Tour, especially the people who are in the top 24 in points, excellent spare shooters. And as we could see this week, or I should see this week, for this tournament for the 2 days, the scores were very low, and we'll talk a little bit about that. So spares were very important, and staying out of trouble, trying to stay away from them splits is what really kept these five girls in the hunt.
Yeah, the averages, I mean, I think Clara and Birgit are just a little over 200. Everybody else was below that for this event. So this is your kind of tournament, Carolyn. The emphasis on few mistakes and make your spares.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I would have loved it. But of course, I'm in Delaware. My daughter has a tournament. So 2 more weeks before college.
Oh, my God. So Clara will start on the left-hand lane. It's a 36-foot pattern, and Carolyn will get into the heart of that pattern in just a moment. And right off the bat, you said avoid the splits, and what does she get stuck with?
A split. Now, the interesting thing is, and we'll probably repeat this during the telecast. So this is a 36-foot pattern. So what is the first thing you think in your mind, right? What do you think, Dave? You've watched bowling a lot. Shorter pattern. Where should
shorter pattern to me always is more difficult to strike on.
Right, correct. And you're always going to play further right, further away from the head pin, right? But you're going to watch these ladies tonight. There were a few different places to play, but no specific place to play. On some pairs, outside of 5 didn't hook. Players moved just a little left. But once you moved a little left, you had to create angle, which is what Clara did on that shot. Yet, the ball did not recover. So again, that's that fine line of how you're playing the pattern.
Well, Clara got stuck with the impossible dream, the 2-8-10. Here's Birgit, reigning Queens champion. And she gets a kick save and a beauty on the 10-pin. So, Carolyn, take us through this 36-footer that has been a difficult test the last couple of days.
Well, it's Defense S and ice oil. And the ice alone says it. It's going to be very slick, right? It's going to hold up, especially in the fronts. But on that 36-foot pattern, again, as you combine two different oils, I believe as they moved left and opened up their angles, they found where then it wouldn't hook back. They tried to get on top of it and move to the right, but with that ice oil, it became very slick and there wasn't any hold to the left, but they found it more to the right as they moved to the right. So I think that's what made this pattern very difficult. Number one was the combination of the two oils and that there was not a defined place to play. I do feel, speaking to some of the ladies, the best place to play was moving off of that gutter area and getting around that 12 to 8, 15 to 9 area with a little bit of angle was where the best scores came from.
Third place, Danielle McEwen. Second place, Shannon O'Keefe. And the runaway top seed, Brianna Cote, the defending player of the year, very much in the race to win it back-to-back. So Guerrero comes back with a beautiful strike on the right-hand lane. Clara looking for her second title.
Right, and you can see that both ladies are playing the lanes very similar. Birgit, a little bit more ball speed, maybe just a little bit straighter through the front. Clara, a little bit softer ball speed, but still just trying to create that little bit of angle in the front part of the lane, not down the lane.
And a double for Guerrero. So we talked about low scores, but Norikes comes up with a double to start. And Guerrero, after an open frame in the first, has doubled and trying to reestablish herself after the way Birgit got started.
Clara seems like she made the move just a little bit left on that left lane. When talking to Sean Ryan, he said lane 13 for the 2 days seemed to hook a couple boards more for the ladies, and the hook was earlier, not down the lane.
And I don't think that messenger is going to get there. It will not. So Birgit looking for her fourth title. I mentioned that she is the reigning Queens champion and also picked up championships in the mixed doubles with Jason Sterner, the Lucy, which was just completed in 2017. And then last year she won in Arlington, Texas, the PWBA Go Bowling Classic. So she has picked up 2 titles in the state of Texas and looking for a third. And we talk about make your spares, and that was an available one there, and you can see how it just sort of dropped off at the end. So a big mistake for Birgit, and Clara Guerrero will take full advantage of this. I am fairly certain.
Right, and that's very unlike Birgit. Hence the 5 in the obviously in the stepladder. This was tough. It was grueling. And that was the key to success this week.
Well, that's a way to come back. Mentioned at the start of the show that 4 of the top 5 for the Player of the Year race are on the show. Birgit is in the number 7 position. Verity Crawley is number 5. Verity finished in 20th position. But Birgit does have a slight edge on Erin McCarthy for earnings on the tour this year. Boy, you could just tell by the sound that wasn't a great shot, but not a terrible result. And, of course, once again, in international competition, Carolyn, Clara Guerrero distinguishing herself at the recent World Championships. Her international record, I know I mentioned the 1 title on the PWBA, but that does not speak to her ability and her status as a winner in this sport.
Oh, absolutely. And I thought that ball came up just a little bit high. She left the 4 pin. But again, that was key too, getting the breaks where you don't leave the 4-9. You only leave the 4 pin, you make the spare and you move on. So both ladies definitely are comfortable on the lanes. That's what it seems. I do think that left lane, funny, Dave, it's always the left lane.
Yes, it is.
But that left lane might be the one that's just a little tricky as had the tendency to break down a little bit quicker.
And also something that I know bowling fans talk about all the time, what happens to you when you miss a single pin spare opportunity, as Birgit did in the third frame, although she has 3 strikes surrounding that. So we'll see if that comes back to haunt her as this match goes on. The winner to take on Danielle McEwen. And a light hit, and if there is a sleeper back there, that will be the second time on this lane that she has a 2-8-10.
But right there, you see she got the ball way right down the lane, probably out to about 5, and it just didn't quite get there, leaving the 2-8-10. That was the key. You know how we always talk about wherever that break point might be, you act like it's the gutter.
Mm-hmm.
When they would get it down the lane to that 5-6 point, it just didn't tip up. But again, pair to pair was so difficult that on some pairs, you could just move left of it and have plenty of bounce. On other pairs, you actually had to move just a little bit further right and kind of stay a little more on top of it with a little angle. But again, you weren't throwing it to the gutter.
Well, that's 2 times on that lane, mixed in with a strike that Clara's been hit with that 2-8-10. So she gives the advantage back to Birgit Norreichs, who's been all or nothing so far in the early going as she steps up for frame number 5. Up flush, that's the hardest hit we've seen so far.
Great shot by Birgit. Playing him just a little bit straight in the front. You could see that didn't get right of 6. She also uses her ball speed to her advantage. She likes to be on top of the pattern just a little bit longer before making that move to the left. She's not afraid to get in by all means, but she does like to use her ball speed. Also, she normally gets on the side of it a little bit, which allows her ball to not read the fronts as early as many of the other ladies. But right now, she seems like she's a lot more behind it than normal.
Well, that hooked hard and a big 4. And that kind of speaks to your point, Carolyn, about there's just no spot you can pick and go, okay, this is going to work.
And right there, she definitely missed left of target. But you can see this is a 36-foot pattern. You're not going to have built-in hold, especially with, the very little bit of practice that the ladies did have on the pair. And in speaking to Doug Dukes from Kegel, who I always call about the lane oils, that defense S is a little bit on the slicker side as well. So that's as well as ice. So again, that front part of the lane was the one that it held up for a while until the ladies got on top of it, where if they used a lot of surface, it started to burn up early in certain spots. But boy, down lane, when you missed, it really just had no chance to recover.
And still unable to find any consistency for Guerrero. I mentioned there were 5 players, actually 6 players who averaged over 200. Shannon Pluhowski in 6th actually averaged almost 201. And Dasha Kovalova, who finished in 11th, did also make it barely over the 200 mark at 200.1. But these conditions at USA Bowl in Dallas for this 36-foot pattern, putting the emphasis on spare shooting and avoiding disaster. And right now we've seen a little bit of everything in this opening match. That's a tough shot and well executed.
Anytime you make the bucket, it feels like a triple. A couple of things that I've noticed, and speaking with Clara, of course, as well, she's made a couple of changes in her game. So if you notice in Clara's setup, she holds the ball just a little bit higher. If you remember, Clara would set up and it was more of a waist high. This one's just a little bit higher. Also, she's wearing her wrist device. She was bowling a little bit without it for a while, went back to her wrist device, but also uses it for her spare shooting.
What's the benefit of her holding the ball higher, you think?
Well, there's a couple of reasons. Now, I would think the first thing for her is because sometimes with the ladies, and she used to say it, she'd get just a little bit late. She would start that ball into swing just a little bit late. I think she felt like she could just drop it a little easier, that it actually helped her gain momentum. But I think there's a couple of different reasons, and I think everyone does certain things based on what they're trying to accomplish. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, because at times I would do it, and I think it helped me to throw the ball a little bit harder because for some reason my feet went faster. But I don't, that's because my feet, I could keep up with my swing, right? So I think there's different reasons, but for Clara, it was simply just once it got into the swing, it felt like it was a little more free for her.
It also shows that as many years of experience as Clara has, that she's still willing to make changes and try to continue to evolve her game. And out here, with the quality of players that we have on the PWBA Tour, you have to keep up or you will get left behind.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
Now, Birgit just giving away that she hated the shot, and yet the result is a strike. Shoulders slumped a little bit.
She definitely had the reaction. She didn't like it, but she definitely got the desired result, right?
I was watching her as much as actually more than the shot because her body language made it look like she wasn't even going to hit the head pin, never mind getting a mixer. Right. So that's a big shot for her because Guerrero, with a couple of spares, was steadying the ship. But Birgit coming off of her own problem with the big four. So she doesn't have a spare yet. Well, perhaps this one, a simple 5-pin.
And I would take that. There you go. See how far right down the lane that ball got? And it just barely tickled the head pin. So she's using a track heat, low flaring ball, right? So it's a solid cover. She's trying to stay on top of the pattern as long as possible, shut down her angles, and she's using a lot of polish so that she can stay on top of it. Just in talking with her ball reps, Jeff and Mike, they said she's going to wait as long as possible before she makes that move to the left and gets into that 15-16 area.
So it took her 8 frames to get a spare, but she has the advantage on Guerrero right now. It's a big shot for Clara, though. She's not out of this match. Trying to coax the strike, and she got it. Trip 4. That puts her right back into this. 213, her max score.
I don't think the moves were big. As you're in the middle of the game, right? You only have 10 frames. You're on TV. It's more about shot making, hoping that, you make the best shot you can and that your reaction keeps you in the pocket and out of disaster, like you mentioned earlier, Dave.
And a double for Clara.
Huge double for Clara, especially on that left lane right here, a little bit deeper, but look at, doesn't get it right of 7. Perfect shot. So you're going to see the ladies creep in slowly but surely, more so and quicker on the left lane because it's breaking down just a little bit quicker.
Ooh, and now a bucket for Birgit. The same shot that Guerrero had.
Yes, and count. And this is just simply the same thing. She just gets it just a little bit right down lane. You think it's going to tickle it for a light hit. She leaves the bucket. But again, on this type of pattern with that carry down using both oils that are slick, that is what they ran into, was light 5-pins, buckets, 2-8s, based on good shots that they felt. They threw pretty darn well off their hand. And again, I don't think it was big moves off of that. It was more about just execution and maybe something subtle where move your eyes a little bit closer to you, but still be as aggressive with the shot.
Well, Clara Guerrero is in a position to nail down this match despite having two 8-10s on the left lane. But that double and the back-to-back spares converting a bucket turned out to be big for her. Oh, there's the second trip 4, now one for each player.
She has made the move right there, crossing about 17 at the arrows, getting it out to about 8, 9, trips the 4. And that's where you're talking about that left lane breaking down just a little bit quicker. She's already made the move. She'll start to inch her way a little more left. She's using the same ball. I think if she doubles, she'll throw a different ball on her fill, because she'll max out at 195. Well, we'll see, because Clara, you're right, it's going to need a double.
Yeah, Clara can max at 213, but
correct.
Can she? That's we're going to find out here shortly. And can Birgit put a little bit of pressure on her? Yes,
wow,
apparently she can.
That shot was pure right there. Trip 4 right here, just a little bit, about 18 that time at the arrows. Look at that high flush. Great shot. And again, Birgit has the ball speed. She can amp it up just a little bit. So as she makes that move left, she'll use the combination of making the move, sticking with the same ball, and using her ball speed. And again, not trying to overhook it. Both ladies, if you'll notice, they're not trying to overhook the ball, trying to keep it where it's a little bit smoother off the end of the pattern.
Got to go. Well, that's a big finish for Birgit Norrijks. 195. That has been good enough in the qualifying to the stepladder to win games, but will it be good enough to get her to move on against Danielle McEwen?
And it was trip 4, high flush, got that one a little bit further right and blew the rack. So she's got a nice look on that left lane.
And how this match would be a little different if she had converted that 10-pin in the third frame.
Great shot by Clara. She liked it. She stepped it out to the right. That's when you know Clara throws a good shot. Needs to convert the 10-pin.
And she manages.
Oh, I said that incorrectly. I thought she had 202.
If she needed a strike. Yeah.
She did. I apologize. I thought she got it froze there for a second and I didn't see the 10-pin. Sorry about that.
Well, that's okay because Birgit Norrijks from the deck, essentially, I mean, just sitting there, staggered a little bit on the ropes, ends up going off the sheet in the 10th and stealing this one from Clara Guerrero, forcing Clara to have to strike in the 10th. And she was not able to do that. So it'll be Birgit Norrijks and Danielle McEwen.
I'm swimming in my head. I've been dreaming on the edge. Gotta follow what I know. Visions in the night. Captivated by the light. I'm surrounded by the glow.
All right, welcome back to USA Bowl. Stepladder finals continue here on Bowl TV. Appreciate your patience as we get our second match underway, as Peter Nordreichs will take on Danielle McEwen, the number 3 seed, and Nordreichs starts with a strike. Big thanks to Carolyn Doran-Ballard and Dave Lamont. I am not them. I am Emil Williams Jr. Aaron Smith now joins me as we make the quick change. Apologies again for the difficulties. Good shot early on for Birgit's opening match win. If you're just joining us, 195 to 190 over Clara Godero, the 5th seed. First shot for McEwen. It's a good break raised out of that one almost immediately as she just leaves a 4-7. You see the arms kind of come up. D-Mac pretty much been in contention in this one throughout the week. We've seen her versatility on display. 4-7 is taken care of. She has gone with urethane in certain situations. We did see her, and I believe, throw this same piece of equipment earlier in the block.
I do believe that's a Rubicon, and yes, she was throwing this one when she hit this pair a little bit earlier.
Aaron and I have seen 13 and 14 a lot, as have these players. As McEwen, or maybe in the 10 falls late as well. Watch this pin action here. 4 slide, the 10 falls. Nordreichs. Splits missed a single pin early, but it did not cost her the match in our opener. A nice early double. She's got a little area down lane.
Well, Emil, we do have to go all the way back to yesterday, to when Birgit was the dominant force in this event and it looked like she was going to run away with it early, and then, end of the block, Brianna Cote was able to catch up to her and then pass her for the overall lead, and then Birgit was in and out of the top 5 throughout the course of match play today.
Yeah, well, it did seem like it was a touch and go for a little bit. The champion that she is, and she starts with 3 in a row. The reigning Queens champion. You see high flush, fist pump. A really good start. In the opening match, she went double 9 out to start, but had 4 of the first 5. Good look at Danielle McEwen. Right now, second PWBA points list, looking for her first Player of the Year award.
Ooh.
4-5-7 goes down, and Aaron Smith is pleased.
Always enjoy seeing the 4-5-7 kicked out of there.
And the reaction, of course, says it all. Hello to all the good people of Bowl TV. Williams Jr., Aaron Smith. Here from USA Bowl, as McEwen now looking for 3 in a row of her own. Bang, good shot. About 18 at the arrows, just shy and just right of the tracer down lane. Again, the 36-foot lane condition. You see the note taking, always consistent for not only Danielle, but many of the players out on tour. Track heat. It's a little different. That's got a hook. It's going to.
Oh, my goodness.
My goodness. Hashtag team no 8-pin. That's even worse. The 8-pin moves, and it moves further back on the deck. That's just unkind and cruel.
We've seen a few of those today, primarily on lane 13, however. She literally did the job. She hit the pin, ball hit the pin. Should have knocked it over.
We've seen our fair share of 8-pins on this particular pair. She will handle business. Brutal break, though, prevents 4 in a row. And just like that, Danielle McEwen takes the lead.
Can be a cruel game sometimes.
Waiting in the wings, Shannon O'Keefe of Shiloh, Illinois. And the number 1 seed, Brianna Cote. You see Mike Wolf, Jeff Smith, ball reps for the Brands of Brunswick. Norrijks.
It's got a chance.
Bang.
Bierget posted 1372 in the opening block at competition here, and it was a distant second.
You're right about that.
Brianna Cote nearly matched the effort to get to the lead.
Fifth frame, McEwen didn't like it again. Leaves something makeable. That's the 1-2. First shot didn't like on the right lane. Now third shot on the right lane did not like as well. And that right there just looks to be more of an execution situation there for D-Mac. Turns around, covers the spare. No quarrels there, with the lead back now to Norrijks by 1. McEwen looking, which is rare to say, very rare to say, but looking for her first title of the season. There's been a troublesome lane where 2-pin combinations often result in splits, Aaron. It's been this left lane.
Throughout the course of qualifying and match play, it seems like the adjustments on the right lane have been, or the players have been seeing the early hook. But definitely a fair share of 210 combos, and
well done.
When you leave it, you got to cover it. Textbook.
Quality spare shooting. We've seen a lot of that today across the board. We've seen some players miss some makeables today as well, but you got to give credit where credit is due. Great spare in the 6th. And now Norrijks with 8-pin in the 4th, strike in the 5th, looking to double up. No 8-pin there. That is 10 back for the native of Germany.
And Neil, throughout the course of match play today, we did not see very many matchups that showcase this type of firepower early going. Usually it was a lot of, feeling out the pair. Obviously, pair to pair, quite different here at USA Bowl, and kind of figuring out those nuances. Seem to slow players out of the gates, but we have these players have seen this pair a couple times.
A lot of note taking on 13 and 14. For 3 in a row. Steps out. Bang. Second championship round appearance for Birgit. I mentioned obviously the Queens win early, and boy, she is looking excellent here through a match and a half.
D-Mac with the excellent 210 conversion in frame number 6. A little momentum.
But she's got some light mixer hits on the right lane. We saw a 4.57 go down on the right lane, and that one has some 4.57 vibes to it. The 4.7 does fall.
There's vibes to it now?
There are vibes
Interesting.
and levels. Max score for McEwen 256. Of course, Nordreich's max 279. 8th frame. Oh. Very nice break for McEwen. Only leaving a 4-pin there that had trouble written all over it. Earlier today, we saw players really have trouble with the right lane and sometimes getting the ball through to push through the front part of the lane, getting down lane and creating the right angle. Didn't see a lot of that on the left lane. Good spare.
Max score now 236 for Danielle, and the way Birgit has put together the first 7 frames here, this is a rare case where 236 would win most matches, but it feels like it might not be enough with the look that Birgit has put together.
Seen a few events where the pattern, and certainly if you watch qualifying, you would not anticipate these types of scores. It's different as the players continue to gain information. 8th frame, put another one down. 4 in a row for Birgit. This continues to throw great shot after great shot, and that's first and foremost. And to throw a great shot, an opportunity to read ball motion. Obviously, and I believe she was throwing, and it might have, you can correct me obviously, Aaron, if she was throwing the track heat, but I also thought she was throwing a 3D offset earlier in the opening match. Or 5 in a row, maybe. Oh, chops the 6, gives the shrug a little bit, like, you know.
Some of our early difficulties in that first match didn't catch if there was an early ball change from Birgit, but I know when we caught her earlier today, there definitely was a different ball in her hand pretty early on in match play. So that was a Black Widow 2.0 earlier in the day today. But yeah, I think you're going to have a hard time getting this heat out of her hand. Holy cow. Vicious messenger.
Went sending pins everywhere. It was much needed though in the 9th frame. Again, max score 236. One a good one for McEwen. This is her 5th championship round appearance. 3rd seed today. It's been the top seed a few times. Still continues to put herself in position. And Nordreichs is going to advance. Pretty good game overall. Well, it's just a matter of what the final score is going to be for Birgit. I would anticipate that she may give another ball a shot, just because. I think she's having that conversation with Mike Wolf and Jeff Smith right now.
And there she goes to the bag. This might actually be that Black Widow we mentioned a little bit earlier today. 2.0, yep, that's a Widow. Definitely got some shine to it.
Little deflect there on that shot. So Sparrow will give her 268. $268-225, your final score. Well, we've seen plenty of players run the ladder this season on the PWBA Tour. A great opportunity, great event for Danielle McEwen.
All right, Shannon O'Keefe going to be coming up next in the semifinal matchup here, PWBA Dallas Classic.
Ever since the 1890s, when Brunswick first got into bowling, we've always had the passion and we've always tried to create and innovate new products. Bowlers' interests are always changing, whether it's ball color, ball motion, lane conditions, and performance. At Brunswick, we always try to improve performance and discover new colors to meet those bowlers' tastes. Whether it's outstanding performance, beautiful colors, or just how it feels in your hands, Brunswick is bowling.
They'll keep the higher seed. Selected to have Birgit start the match. See if she can continue the momentum. She's gotten off to great starts in each match. And a touch different here, 3-6.
We did see the different ball in the second shot of the 10th for her, but definitely didn't expect a change after how well that heat rolled through the first two games.
All right, cleans up the 3-6 and the first shot here for Shannon O'Keefe.
Looks like a Rubicon in her hands as well from Rotogrip. UC2.
First shot, the two-time Player of the Year. Oh my. Violently through the nose. 4-6-7. That ball saw the friction and immediately went left. Hear the kind of a different hit as that ball hit the pins. Talking about the twister pins throughout the week. She'll take one early. And we'll see the rebound shot coming up here for O'Keefe. Second Player of the Year race last year, of course, to Brianna Cote in a close race, closest since 2015. This is her 6th championship round appearance of the season.
In 9 events.
In 9 events, thank you. Watch where that ball hooks. It gets to the tracer and says, Good break, however, leaves a makeable. Just a single pin. She'll have to take care of the 6 here. So 2 shots, Aaron Smith, that go not the way she planned, certainly. We'll see if a ball change will commence here in frame 3. But first things first, she takes care of the spare. Ball change or what type of move? We'll find out.
Appears she's got the information she needs, though. Didn't go back to talk to any of her reps. Back in the seat, just waiting for her next turn.
Seasoned player, obviously. I'm sure she picked up what she needed to see. Now Norreichs back on the right lane. Gives that one some additional room and leaves a 10 pin. Talked about the area that we thought Birgit had. And it seems she's got a little bit more on the right lane as opposed to the left. Thanks to good staff here at USA Bowl. Josh Modello and Ms. Susan and everyone here on staff. Great atmosphere. Take care of the players. I don't recall if that, I think that might have been.
She missed one in game number 1.
Just her second 10 pin since that moment.
That is correct. She had one in the second shot of the 10th, but that early one nearly cost her against Clara Guerrero.
You get the early lead. If you're just joining us, it's a semifinal match. The PWBA Dallas Classic is part of the Dallas Classic Series. Emil Williams Jr. with Aaron Smith. Norreichs, third frame. A little high, and she too leaves a 4 pin. Better shot there. First time on that lane, a 3-6, now a 4 pin, and I think some moves to be made all around. Brianna Cote warming up. And on 25 and 26 preparing for her title match. She will need an opponent. And Norreichs with the early lead. No strikes here for either player.
Looks like no ball change yet.
O'Keefe in the customary McKendree purple on show day. Good shot. I think a little bit of trust right there. Open up the angles a little bit more. She's got space and opportunity. Watch the 6 chop the 10 out. Keep looking for the first double for either player. They made the move. That one not enough. Out 16 or so at the arrows. 7 or 8 down lane, and still. Really, I think Aaron, for the first time so far in the step ladder, this 36-foot pattern starting to look like a short pattern.
And the strange thing from what we've witnessed throughout the course of qualifying match play is usually if one lane goes, it's been the right lane. on the board in the fourth. Birgit 10-pin lead. You can push it another 10 to strike here in the fifth.
Birgit has responded well, I think, throughout the day. You touched on it just a little bit during match play. Obviously the great start qualifying, but during match play was in of the top 5, out of the top 5, did what she had to do to get back in and remain. Now 3, 6, 9, 10. And I think at least 3-4 board move might be coming here. Spare. Perfect right there. Aaron, you like 3, 6, 9, 10?
I don't think anybody likes 3, 6, 9, 10s.
Where's the rank on your least favorite spare list?
Well, luckily, I don't have enough hand to leave them often, so so don't shoot at it very often. But when I do, usually it's usually not good. Here, get with the textbook cover, staying with the reactive ball, making sure it drives in and gets the 9 as well.
Fifth frame, O'Keefe. And if that's not a leap, we haven't seen a lot throughout this Dallas Classic. 4-9. And Shannon is trying to figure this thing out, obviously on the fly. Great shot in the third. The first one went almost just hockey stick in the first frame. We've seen this made a lot this week. Give it a run on the open in the fifth. You see just how close that one came. So 2 opens through 5 frames.
Here's the ball change.
It's the Daredevil Danger. Anticipate this one to go a little longer. Lay off just a little bit. Wow. It did not. 4, 7, 10 for O'Keefe. This left lane certainly going, both Birgit and O'Keefe experiencing. Right now, Birgit leaving makeable spares. This is the third split here for Shannon. Would be nice. All right, she'll take count, back-to-back opens, 2 splits. That leaves O'Keefe with 83 in the 6th. Take a walk back, have a quick combo. Meanwhile, Nordreich's, while not striking, remaining clean, just 1 strike through 5. She has been in control both of her matches here. This is the third. Oh, nearly a 7-pin. Gets out of there late. Watch this action on the 7-pin. Headpin comes flying.
Lead now at 35, heading into the 7th, can push it to 45.
Big opportunity for Nordreich. You know that O'Keefe won't go anywhere. If you're Birgit, you obviously don't want to give her any opportunities, any thought she can get back into this one. Makes a move left. Was the right move. She'll leave a 7-pin. That was about 21. Fourth arrow.
And this was something she mentioned when we talked to her after her big opening block, was that she was able just to chase in with the ball that she had started with that day. Something Cote had mentioned as well. She would try other things, but you know, the ball just didn't stop. It didn't get flat, didn't get lazy as the players continued to move in. So we saw her take a look at a different ball on the fill ball, but good move, good look, just pin carry didn't cooperate.
Another ball change here for O'Keefe. Will this be the charm? Wow, best shot of the match there. She wraps the 10, and that's, boy, that's, you know, it's like, okay. A good shot, I'm on my third ball. Best shot of the match, and I'll wrap a 10-pin.
And she's used that one a couple times this week. Usually I've seen her use it earlier in the block, but a 900 Global Ordnance C4.
All right, 10-pin converted for O'Keefe. Mentioned her 6th championship round appearance. Also leads the tour in match play and top 12 appearances. That is now at 9 after today. Tied for the lead. Tour lead in cash is now at 9 as well. Trying to become the first player, it could be Bjerget as well, to win multiple times.
Well, that's going to happen either way tonight.
Wow. Left lane providing all kinds of trouble for Shannon O'Keefe. And it's a situation where it just perhaps just not have moved enough, and particularly on this left lane. Score for Shannon O'Keefe, 167. That's a couple of bowling balls off the rack. The track heat still doing wonders for Nordreichs. As right now she is inching closer to an opportunity to face Brianna Cote for the Dallas Classic title. I'll tell you, Bjerget obviously will be, she gets closer to advancing, looking at some additional moves as well. Although I don't think she threw that one as good as she has previous shots on the right lane.
Max.
And she
Well,
was,
that's a...
she was ready to shoot a spare on the left lane. I think that was well timed. She didn't do it on purpose, but
that was,
I think everyone needed a little smile in the building. Lord knows we do. Mike Wolf still laughing. All right.
Looking at max score for O'Keefe, 167 if she punches out. Bjerget, even if she were to go open, would be in the 170s. So definitely an opportunity. Take a look at something else here if she wants it.
No doubt, I think she's going to do that on the right lane. I think she feels confident with the move she made on the left lane, but second 4-pin on this left lane. It'll be intriguing to see how what Brianna Cote, if anything, if she sees any of what Birgit and Shannon now have seen. Both of these lanes look to be going.
See Birgit in the background discussing options here.
And obviously that's what it's about now. Best game plan, as you know, her looks tends to be going away. There's another great shot. Didn't get to that ball. That was the third ball selection and choice for O'Keefe. One that looks to be a little bit more even. Obviously, it's seeing friction, but it's a bit mellow. Still an opportunity to learn. This is not the final event of the week, right? So she may. Oh, that's just the old insult to injury. I've been quoting Shakespeare a lot today, folks. It was very drive the knifeth into my stomacheth.
You had Shakespeare reference on your bingo board for Bowl TV today. Congratulations. Good point, though, Emil. This is, you know, the note taken we've talked about throughout the course of the week, the event. All gaining information along the way. Even though this match didn't go her way, she's going to finish third here at the Dallas Classic. But you know, these little nuances from pair to pair, we've kind of seen these lanes play different throughout the week. This will be something that is stored away for future use at the Pepsi Classic, or and hopefully for the Tour Championship as well for Shannon.
And this is going to be the TV pair throughout the week. Obviously today, during Saturday's Pepsi Classic and Tuesday's Tour Championship. So you never know what she will need to use if she is on those shows. Use that piece of equipment yet again. 147 officially. Full information mode here for Birgit. We saw her use the Black Widow 2.0 on the fill shot in match 2 in the 10th frame. Imagining we might see it again here.
Clean game, 2 strikes. But that, you know, once again, we kind of talked about just the varying runs we've seen players have throughout the course of the week as well, and certain parts of the block where all of a sudden it seemed like, you know, a couple 230s, 240s, 250s were out there. Other times it looked like 220 was kind of the big number, and you know, we've seen that happen. Obviously, Birgit has gotten very comfortable with the nuances here of the championship pair.
No ball change on that fill. The best shot of the match. Robin Graves. No microphone needed. Top seed, Brianna Cote will take on Birgit Nordreichs. 1 versus 4. Can Nordreichs climb the ladder? And I don't have the exact number, but we've seen many players their run to championships so far this season by climbing the ladder.
Won a lot of professional tournaments. We won a lot of tournaments worldwide. I mean, we won more in the last 10 years worldwide than any company. we make good bowling balls, and good players use our bowling balls because they can win with them.
She's also going to shoot her spares on the right lane, or the correct lane. What she said, she's just trying to keep everybody entertained.
Mission accomplished. Scoring pace slowed down a little bit, so Birgit working in the comedy routine, and after several choices there, looks like Hustle USA. Once again, this is the first time I've seen her throw this ball this week.
I would reckon that as well. Looked pretty good in the majority of the warm-up shots we saw on this pair. First one, championship match. Boy, and that hooked as well. Whew. And they're getting a little toasty.
Toasty.
Watch that one just stand up and go left. She's talked about, obviously, making spares. Great spare shooter. You anticipate both players to be clean from a makeable perspective, especially in the title match. Handled.
Spare ball behaves once again. As you noted, Emil, Birgit going back to the heat. Her game so far today, 195, and a victory over Clara Guerrero, who had 190, 268 for Danielle McEwen's 225. In the semifinal, 193 clean to 147 of Shannon O'Keefe.
This definitely could develop as you watch this replay in the nearly 7-10, but a weak 10 there for Birgit as she continues to chase it. And in many cases, you know, as you continue to chase it left, sometimes the angles get open. The opportunities to carry corner pins might be a bit difficult here in this title match. Pin. I think some in the crowd. It was somewhat close. A spare is a spare at this point. Confident, comfortable with this track heat. We saw her make some moves in the semifinal match. Continuing to chase it left. I think she's a little further left on the left lane than she is on the right. Got to push. And first big trouble here early for Norrijk's big four. Count. Taken care of. First open in several frames for Birgit was clean. In the semifinal match versus O'Keefe.
We're going all the way back to game one. She had a big four in the 6th frame of that game.
First shot right lane for Cote from Tucson, Arizona, a reigning PWBA Player of the Year. Wow, and that one did not hook, and she just gave a wow as well. It just kind of labored. Now a 2-8-10.
It's very strange that these pairs have kind of flipped their characteristics, it seems like. what we've been seeing throughout the week so far.
She too gets count.
And an early 2-pin lead.
Well, first shot left lane, obviously, as you saw, crossed over, left to 6-pin. So you know she's going to be looking and thinking about the move, the adjustment to make on the left lane. And that's all she can focus on, obviously. The right lane is the right lane, and she will get back to that point. Third frame. Excellent shot. Wraps a 10-pin. Gotta feel pretty good about that move. About 18-ish at the arrows. You see the 6 just go right around the 10. Three-shot routine. Cote, no stranger now to championship round appearances within the last 2 seasons, but she has been a regular finals. This season alone, this is her 5th championship round appearance. Interesting start to this match, Aaron. Obviously, Norwich, who is in the process of running ladder, has seen this pair the most from a competition perspective, not including, of course, everyone's warm-up shots as they come over. So you know she's got the best beat, opportunity, and understanding of what's happening, but it's getting a little different for both. And some of the hits that she was carrying earlier in the earlier matches are now resulting in 10 pins. Obviously some carry down as well.
Something we talked about earlier, players being able to chase it left, staying in the same ball, still having enough energy and kick at the pocket, and now back-to-back 10 pins on what looked to be pretty good shots. And does have to make you think if Birgit is questioning not taking those opportunities in the 10th last game to take a look at something else perhaps, but cleans it up, down 2.
Let's get a look at the device that you saw Birgit use as a hand warmer, and she uses it during competition all the time. Often borrows power from Bowl TV to charge it, but I don't charge her. And another 10 pin. It's a situation, I think, Aaron, where the opponent in this case is Cote. Didn't get off to a great start, obviously experiencing some of the same things that Birgit is experiencing, at least through 2 frames, maybe, and really 3. We know that she's got at least control of the pocket.
3 out of 4 have hit the 1-3.
This one may come down to spare shooting.
But I also think that the start for Cote has allowed Birgit to stay in this ball too, even though, once again, 3 10 pins, not necessarily wrap 10 pins either. But until Cote puts some strikes up on the board and forces her, does she have a few more frames with it?
Shot here coming up, 4th frame, right lane, Cote. Oh, saw it that time. And leaves a nasty 9-pin. She did miss it and maybe even got it closer. Friction. I was saying earlier, it looked like Birgit had some area to the right, on the right lane. Cote, but making the right moves, obviously. Great shot.
Question for you after the spare attempt, Emil.
Oh no.
All right, no problem there. Through 4 frames. Whose ball reaction would you rather have right now?
That's a great question. Based on the last 2 shots, I might take Bree. And I know people would say, hey, it's, you know, you leave a wrap 10, you leave a 9-pin. If there's ever a good 9-pin, I think that was the best 9-pin she could have left there, especially after leaving a 2-8-10. So she found the friction, and now she can work from that spot. If there's a situation where we got to carry Birgit down lane the track, he's kind of being a little lazy at the moment. I think Bree made a move there. Found some oil and found just a hair too much. It's hard to bet against someone who is just going to hit the pocket, especially in a situation where there doesn't look to be, and there may not be doubles, 3-baggers, 4-baggers all around. Not the easiest of spares on this either. Takes care of it like a champion. Ourselves a match here. Dallas Classic title on the line. The first of 3 events here at USA Bowl this week in Dallas, Texas. Pepsi Classic qualifying begins tomorrow morning, 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Central, right here on Bowl TV. Motorikes, 5th frame, looking for a first strike. High flush. First strike. Either player comes in the 5th frame for Birgit. Big fist pump, but now can she double up?
She can take a 10-pin lead with the double.
Rikes has made shows before. Queen's champion. Has made 2 Queen shows in her career. Nicely done. She didn't allow that one to get too far right down lane. Pretty, you know, from some angle obviously, but as she continues to chase it left, it looks like she's bringing her eyes along for the ride.
Some parallel moves, perhaps.
First double. Birgit with some clear momentum. Pin for Cote. What a match this has turned into. Talk about the scores and the matches that we've seen to open up. Birgit defeating Clara 195 to 190. She defeated Danielle McEwen 228 to 225. and defeated Shannon O'Keefe 193 to 147. Can she run the ladder? Her routine spare. Still searching for her first strike. She's left a 9-pin, wrap 10. That one a weak 10. Tell you, we're getting down to it now. 7th frame for Cote. Feeling like must strike territory already. Late love tap on the 10. And a huge strike. Or watch it again.
Say that hustle back right there. Been waiting all game for that one.
There was so many Rick Ross references I was waiting for. I may not use them. Nordrax now 7th frame, looking for 3 in a row. Gets a break on the other side. Look to be left from the start. This type of situation, title match, you get a break, obviously you got to be able to capitalize. It's 3 in a row. Max score 243 for Birgit. So I talked about her schedule, trying to get prepared for this event. Sister recently got married. 8th frame. Oh, that's got a hook. It does, and leaves a 10-pin. Certainly what you'd love to see right there, just considering the shot location. Cote max score 222.
The spare here, we have matching max scores. What Cote does here, the 8th and 9th frames, Nordrax will finish the match first. Could potentially be in a shutout situation. Needs it. Bang. Piece of equipment that Aaron mentioned he hadn't seen her use. I haven't seen that ball used until now, and boy, best shot of the match as we get down to it. You see the scores. And matching max scores at 222. Dallas Classic title on the line. We'll have our first multi-time champion on tour this season. First to win 2. But who will it be? Ninth frame, Cote. Read it. Oh.
Watch the pin action. Just right and forth there, about 18.
And that 6-pin wasn't going to necessarily get it. Someone else coming across, helping out.
Saying that was a hit that I don't think we really saw a lot of those carry, but we've got ourselves a match, Aaron Smith.
That we do.
And so now the shutout situation for Birgit right now off the table, but she can do everything in her power to set up a tie situation. First one, 9th frame. The old 2-5, 4 goes late to 7, actually left late 2. This is not the easiest of spares. It's certainly choppable. We've seen spare balls hook a lot on this pattern. Definitely love to see the ball clip both pins. Big spare.
2-10 her max score now. So she is able to get all 3. Cote would need the first hit. And 9 for a chance to win.
Come down to it. For Nordreichs, who again has been in control for the majority of her time during any stepladder matches. Now has to do everything she can to apply the pressure. That is through the nose, 4, 6, 7. Now the best one can do. We know the pins do fly here with the twisters. She can give it a run. Open in the 10th, 186. I believe Brianna Cote has requested a re-rack.
Nine on the first shot will lock it up.
There's the re-rack.
With 8 on the first shot, she would have to get 1 on the second.
Jay has been in these situations before. Already won title this season, the BVL Classic. Looking for her second. 9 here is a winner. And that's enough. Brianna Cote, 2022 PWBA Dallas Classic champion. The first to win 2 titles this season, and inching closer to perhaps her second consecutive PWBA Player of the Year award. Spare is made. There's always that small hesitation from the crowd. Does she win?
Yes. A fantastic start to the week, as well to Birgit Nordreichs. Just ran out of steam there after running the ladder. Cote makes the first mark here in the Dallas Classic Series.
official now. 200 to 186. The hug, the trophy. Two-time winner now in 2022. Again, Cote. And we will talk with Brianna Cote. Bree.
Hi.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
You are the first to win 2 titles here in 2022, but this pair did not look fun by the time, obviously, you got to bowl on in the title match. What was difficult about navigating this pair here in the championship?
Yeah, even during match play, I had the most hooking pair. So I knew with all the practice that we got and just all the play that it was probably going to get pretty toasty when it came to my match. And I started to just experiment with some stuff down on the practice pair. I threw the Hustle USA, which I hadn't thrown the entire time, but it had some shine on it. It was a little bit weaker, so I was like, maybe it'll do the right thing and get through it because they were just getting so toasty. And I really liked the shape it was making. I was really surprised when it 2-8-10 because I really liked that shot. Moved off of it, and I was like, okay, well let's just control the pocket now because they were already hard throughout the last couple of days, but then when they started to break down like this, where I don't think we've really seen us getting this far left on this pattern, I knew they were going to get extra hard, and just making spares and controlling the pocket was definitely going to win.
Well, Emil, looks like toasty is the day of the word
toasty.
Here. Brianna, congratulations.
Thank you.
And that was something we had talked a little bit about on the show. That was the first time we had seen that particular hustle in your hands, and we thought it was true, and it was. But talk a little bit about just having the confidence to go to something you haven't necessarily seen on this pattern, knowing you only get X amount of shots before it's time to make a decision. How tough was that decision when you got down to it?
I think I've learned over the last couple of years that you can't be afraid to make a decision whether it's good or bad, and you just have to commit to it. And it may be the right one, it may be the wrong one, but know that you committed to it and you stuck to that plan. And I saw something, I ran it by the ball reps, and they were like, actually it looks pretty good, let's roll with it. And I was like, okay. So we were all on the same page, so I wasn't just seeing things a little weird myself. I was glad that I had a couple extra pair of eyes to make just to confirm that what I was seeing was correct. It's always great to have that behind you. So, you just have to be able to make that change on the fly. And if you can't, then I think sometimes you get a little behind.
Bree, we touched on it a little bit earlier, but we talked about your huge success and continued success now in Classic Series events. What is it about the Classic Series formats that you now enjoy?
I don't know. I guess I never really put 2 and 2 together that I bowl well in the Classic Series. I just want to bowl well all the time, and I just try to be as consistent as possible. And I know with the Classic Series, they're like mini sprints, but a marathon all at the same time. So I obviously want to bowl really well in the mini sprint events, but obviously the Tour Championships is the end goal, and you want to get to that 24, and then 24 games of match play, anything can happen. So obviously that end goal is to get, to that major and try to get to that show and to the next step of possibly winning. But you got to take it one shot at a time. And, with the Classic Series, you really have to make sure every shot counts because it all counts towards the end.
Now, Bree, one more question for you before we let you go celebrate. And obviously, some bowling left to come up for the rest of the week for you. But how does it sound? 2-time champion this year on the PWBA Tour.
My luck at number 1 seeds hasn't been very good. So I think I finally got a little monkey off my back today, and it felt really good to win 2 titles in a season. I'm always just thankful to get to a show and have the opportunity to put myself in that position to win. And I was really glad that I made probably the 10 best shots I could for what was given to me on the lanes, and fortunate enough the lanes fell, and to get another title was amazing.
Excellent work tonight, Bree. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Go enjoy it.
I will. Thank you guys for all you do.
That is Brianna Cote, your 2022 PWBA Dallas Classic champion. She will now go take the official photos. Good to see Greg Ellman back in the fold on the PWBA tour as well. Aaron Smith, there's been obviously some hiccups and such. We appreciate the Bowl TV community for sticking with us here tonight. But some final thoughts for you as we watch Brianna Cote hoist the trophy.
Seems a lot like last year. Bree getting off to a great start. Obviously, this Player of the Year race, she's going to gain a few extra 1,000 points with that win as well. So things are going to get a little bit tighter. She's going to get a little bit closer to both Danielle McEwen and Shannon O'Keefe after that performance. So excited to kind of see how this starts to develop as we get to the long pattern coming up next, the PWBA Pepsi pattern coming up next, 44 feet. But just a phenomenal performance for Brianna Cote. Tip of the cap to Birgit Norrijks as well for making that run up the ladder. Just, looked like that ball may have just ran out of steam a little bit at the end there. But, some great bowling to kick things off. As you mentioned, we'll be looking to get Saturday's Stepladder finals flawless for you guys. But for right now, we will go ahead and sign off because I know you're off to go catch a flight soon. So we'll let you go do that, bud.
And as Chick Hearn would say, we've got to get off the air. All right, folks, we appreciate you. Again, apologies for the technical difficulties. Be on the lookout for the archive that was recorded. I know JT will do his best to take care of you in that regard. I want to thank Carolyn Doran-Ballard and Dave Lamont, who started this broadcast for you, but due to the technical difficulties, we had to switch and do it from the center. Thanks to Dave and CDB. Big thanks to all of you, obviously the Bowl TV community, for standing by. The PWBA players, man, what a show tonight. Congrats again to Brianna Cote. Big thanks to our gold partners, Brunswick, Roto-Grip, Storm, and Kegel. Brunswick, Roto-Grip, and Storm providing bowling balls to give away. And congrats to our Storm bowling ball of choice giveaway winner tonight, Kegel, the official lane maintenance provider of the PWBA and the United States Bowling Congress and the Bowling Proprietors Association of America and their respective boards. For Aaron Smith and Jason Thomas, my name is Emil Williams Jr. Pepsi Classic qualifying begins tomorrow, 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Central Time. Don't miss it as we get you started again on Bowl TV. This has been a presentation of the PWBA Dallas Classic. You watched it live and only on Bowl TV. Bowling lives here. Good night.